Hey everyone, Joey here, aka Animus und heute, part 10, the final part, the series finale of the Kraftwerk marathon, where today we are finally going to be listening to the final Kraftwerk album, Tour de France soundtracks, or Tour de France, or whatever you want to call it. So, honestly, we've come so far. It's the final part. I cannot believe it. 10 videos. Oh, anyway, I did a little bit of background research on this album before this video, and this was released in 2003. So I think, oh whoops, gosh, my speaker's badly aligned. That's gonna be a problem. So they, apart from those, I don't know, I think the mix and minimum, maximum could have been released some point between, but they're like compilations and not reacting to those. So they hadn't had an official album for 17 years. That is a long time. That's the same time that 808 did a hiatus, actually. Not very related, but yeah, their last album was a bit, I wasn't huge on techno-pop / electric cafe. It's a very different sound, though, a techno-ish sound, and this is based on a single from the 90s called Tour de France, and apparently it was made to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Tour de France. So yeah, Tour de France soundtracks. So I probably should have listened to that track before this, doing this video. It's not on Spotify, and I couldn't really, I wanted to get this video out while it was still light. So I sort of went, oh god, I need to do that. So I rushed into doing this. Maybe I should have given it context, because that single is remade on here. It's like a 2003 remake. I don't know how different it's going to be, but whatever. Yeah. I don't know, I had no idea what their sound's going to be like on this album. It's actually 56 minutes long, so this is their longest album to date, because most of them, I don't think any of them passed the 50-minute mark up until this point, so most Kraftwerk albums have seemed to be quite short, so this video is probably going to pass the hour mark, which I've never done before. But yeah, this is exciting. Let's see what we get. The first track is Prologue. That was playing on from my phone. Okay. Am I listening to Kraftwerk? This does not sound like a very Kraftwerk-y sound. Really like it, but I need to get comfortable. Yeah. It's interesting. Maybe it is going to have a slightly similar sound to techno-pop. Or maybe it's not, I don't know. It sounds... That vocoded title track. The vocoded title of the track. Again. As often. Oh, this is... Oh, Tour de France. Etape 1. Etape. I don't know what that means, but this is part of, yeah, so the prologue, I guess, was just that pad noise, but this is a 3-part suite we're going into. French, I think that is. Makes sense. That's quite... like a very minimal feeling, but fast forward motion similar to something on Trans-Europe Express, say. Which I guess makes sense, seeing as it's not like... Because, like, you know, bikes are small, but they're not massive, great hulking trains that move like... But, there still has a feeling of forward motion. So I guess that makes sense. Sounds a bit like cycling. Love to know what the meaning behind these French lyrics are. By the way, guys, I have seen your comments about saying that I should listen to the German versions, which I will do at some point. But only the English versions are on Spotify, and I just, you know, it helps me understand them and makes it much easier to use with Spotify instead of an unofficial YouTube mix. But I am looking at a lot of vinyl copies on eBay, so that should be, you know, could probably pick a German version up at some point if I'm lucky. Is that sort of belly noise? A bit creepy, almost. Sort of dark sounding. So I can definitely imagine listening to this while cycling. You know, all I hope is that the Tour de France cyclists don't fall off their bikes, like I did 2 days ago. I still have not recovered from that at all. Well, not at all, but you know, I've still got quite a big mark on my arm and stuff. This feels very different to anything I've heard before, actually. It's not like Electric Cafe / Technopop, which I thought for a moment it might be. It's like, it's sort of, it sounds a lot more modern than all their other stuff, which makes a lot of sense. Why it's very different, because they're the only album of theirs made in the 21st century, but it has such a, it's almost like I said, it's almost like Trans-Europe Express, except if you made that minimal to the point, made that sound all modern, really modernized, and then minimal to the point of almost being ambient. So I'm really enjoying this. Is this part 2 yet? Or is it still... Oh no, we're just getting to the end of part 1. Oh, great reverb and filtering on there. Can't believe I'm listening to Kraftwerk. This sounds like... Who does this sound like? Yet again, Kraftwerk never really sound like anyone else. Even though I've said it sometimes, usually the people who I say they sound like are people who are influenced by them. Well, I'm sure this does sound like someone, but nothing really springs to mind for me. I love their little delay effects. I'm not sure there is delay, just that noise for note. Just has a very sort of feel rhythmic again. Like the instruments creating rhythms, creating very rhythmic feelings, like they did on Man Machine. Because of the clickiness of everything. Yeah, all these beats are so sort of... You could make this beat really sort of hard-hitting, and this could easily sound like, you know, a sort of modern... techno-ish electronic track, but they're so small and minimal, which gives it like an ambient feel. Yeah, definitely French again. Luckily, this album doesn't seem to have any different versions. It's just an English, French, and German version, all in one for all the countries. Notice when I'm editing my videos, I always do this weird thing where I like glance to the side for a moment. I go. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. It's annoying. I try not to do it. I think it's just when I look over there for a moment. I don't know. So nice and relaxing feeling. I feel like it's going to transition without me noticing. Oh no, it is. Yeah, only like halfway through part 2. Maybe this is just going to be a sound that's going to carry through this opening suite, and maybe some of the rest of the album will be a little bit different, but they generally seem to have a musical theme that runs throughout each of their albums. I don't know. Can you believe this is still the same band who made Kraftwerk and Kraftwerk 2? I can't. They come such a long way. All the way from crazy off-the-rails krautrock to this clean, minimal, highly high-tech sounding, almost ambient music. Television, I guess. Tour de France on the television. Yeah, they used... It sounds like some sort of... Yeah, there's so many little clicky rhythms everywhere. Yeah, the only thing that's keeping us definitely feeling like a Kraftwerk track is the vocoders and the vocals. Still unmistakably Kraftwerk in that way. I think, because it's German, by the way, I think I do try and say Kraftwerk, not Kraftwerk, but I think it often comes out sounding like Kraftwerk when I say it, because I'm not very good at pronouncing stuff clearly. I think it's because of my lack of teeth. Look, I've got all these gaps everywhere all the time. Not so much now, but... Shut up, Dad. I'm enjoying this in such a different way to the way I've enjoyed so many of their other records. Maybe not the most sort of commentary, creating music, but it's, just really nice to... I'll probably add some of these to my schoolwork playlists for background music for working to during lockdown, because it's really... I'm in need of some more minimal music. Also love the use of the filters. When you use a filter, but then you put like reverb and delay, so every filter change you make sort of echoes out. I always love it. That. Okay, this is part 3 now. With that weird minor key bell. bell synth thing. Sorry about the noise in the background, by the way. Is this all going to be the minor key then, in this part? Just love the sound design on this thing. Of course, there's the big melody. I just love those sort of monotone spoken vocal, you know, vocoder vocals in their tracks. Especially like, I heard someone comment about this, like, I know these aren't in German, but when they are in German, it almost helps that sort of, I don't know, it just sort of helps that sort of, I don't know how to say it, just the German language works well with those kinds of vocals. Oh, a little bird outside. Not sure I'm so into this part at the moment as before. Some people might say it sounds empty. I don't think it sounds empty. I just think it sounds minimal. Yeah. I think that's, you know, a divide between a lot of people. Someone can find something really relaxing, and someone can find it boring and sparse. Yeah, I don't. That's a really good melody. It's the little bell noise. I don't really want to hear that just repeated on its own. My eyes are tired. God. It actually looks so much brighter on the screen than it looks to me in the room. I don't know. I guess iPhones just have good cameras. Sorry. I notice a lot of weird tics and stuff I have when I edit my videos. And when I'm looking sort of above the camera, I'm looking out the window, by the way. Because I like to do that when I listen to music. Oh, you're back again. It's a cool little noise. Yeah, forget all the stuff I've said about it. It's a nice little addition to have a sort of weird key change. Adds a bit of flavour to the track. And they've done such a good job choosing all the right sort of percussion, the right drum choices to make it sound, to give it that sort of thin feel, thin in a good way, like sort of. I keep saying sort of, not thin, but like minimal. That's the word. Sorry, that's the word I've been using the whole time. I just. This is cool. delay when it sort of rises up. Doing weird detuning stuff. Oh, we finished the suite. Oh, we're nearly 2 minutes into chrono and I didn't even notice. Oops. Sorry guys. Yeah, that whole opening suite was good, but I guess this is continuing on the suite. Maybe the whole album will be a continuous mix. Please let it be a continuous mix. You all know how I feel about those. And there's the main melody back again. So maybe I should forget about the tracks and just switch off my mind, turn off my mind, relax down, turn off my mind, relax and float downstream. I screwed up that quote twice. Just forget about the different tracks and just think of this album as a whole. Bit weird that they'd have Tour de France, Etape, whatever, 1, 2 and 3, and then have everything else. Have other things flow into it as well. Have it flow into other things as well, but I don't know. Sorry, I'm tired, my speech is really weird, I keep stuttering and stuff. Not stuttering, but repeating myself. Ugh. I can't lie down because it looks really bad in the video. Okay, silence. So I guess Chrono was just a part of that suite as well. Maybe we should have just called it part 4, but whatever. Vitamin cis track. Bit of a sort of clangy feel to that. Yeah, again, they put a lot of delay on things, which I'm enjoying. Has a very clean and smooth feel to it, but it also a bit of, computer world, radioactivity style quirkiness to it. Key change. That melody doesn't feel as strong as most Kraftwerk melodies, but we just keep key changing. I know, prove me wrong, guys. They don't seem like they can do really anything wrong with melodies, so. I think that's German now. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D, I guess. Although that might be French, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it in French. I don't know. This just feels fun and catchy. A bit quirky. Maybe it's not so much the melody, but the synth choice for the melody that's a little bit weak. It sounds a bit cheesy. Oh, I think I'm just listing out vitamins. So, yeah. I like vitamin A, vitamin B. I get it. What this has to do with Tour de France, I do not know, but, who cares? It's music. If I'm enjoying it, that's all most of what matters. Good zinc, yeah. but they're the German words for them. Those vocals are catchy though, even if I don't exactly know what they're saying. It's also got a bass line that sounds like a 303 with the resonance turned right down. But again, this album just has such a light and minimal feel, which other Kraftwerk albums have slightly felt like sometimes, but I never feel like they've properly gone for a minimal approach. In the same way as, you know, you can tell they deliberately have here. I think some of the older ones might have sounded minimal just because, you know, it was older electronic music, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for here. I feel like I'm just gonna not notice when it goes into, you know, the next track. There are a lot of smooth transitions on here. I love how that sort of the sound, quality of sound, like that filter cut off or whatever it is on that synth just changes every note. It's almost reminds me of Orbital. They do that a lot, like the ooh, ah, ee, oh sounding noises. But it's a very odd clanky sound. Could be a recording of, no, it's probably a synthesizer, but you know. Ugh. Yeah, there's not all that much to be constantly talking about here. It's just some nice chilled out music. So many Kraftwerk tracks have that thing where you're actually singing along to it on first listen once you've heard the hook. Endorphin. Did I? No, that's not a vitamin, is it? What is an endorphin? Is it some sort of hormone or is it? I don't know. Joey being stupid compilation. What's that saying? What's that saying? Is it... He went with her face? Oh, it's Electric Cafe! My bad. Where does the word cafe come from? I don't know. Is it? Sorry guys. I am a bit dumb in my videos sometimes and in real life. Very slow pace in this track. It's quite repetitive, but often when a track feels this minimal, I don't mind a bit of repetitivity. What? I'm speaking a load of nonsense today. I almost said repetitivity. I was like, wait, repetitive? Am I adding in an extra T? No. Anyway, next track, aerodynamic. That's a nice little sharp snare hit there. Also, killer bass line. I know, not aerodynamic, aerodynamic. I guess that's the German. Although, there's a little accent above the E, so that doesn't seem very German. They often do that thing where there's like the title and something that rhymes with the title. You know, like they did with Vitamin. Yeah, that vocal hook is quite similar to the one on Vitamin. I don't mind, it's good. This is fun. That's such a cool process beat and a little noise in the right channel is fun as well. Sorry about the trains again. I'm going to feel extra loud with this album. I'm getting really thirsty right now. Like I keep saying throughout this marathon, these are lots of moments in music where you just can't be reacting to it because it doesn't merit a reaction. It's just this sort of music, you know. Like a weird rising pitch bend. Little stab chords there. Oh, Kraftwerk music always makes me smile. Sit up. Gosh, we've been going for nearly 35 minutes now. I haven't really reacted to a fairly long album on this channel yet. I probably won't be doing these full reaction videos again though. It's only because there's going to be so much of it that it takes too long to edit it down. and it also proves that I've done it, you know. It's the reason these Kraftwerk videos are uncut, whereas my other reaction I've done on this channel, my Michael Mennett reaction, was cut down to 20 minutes, even though that was an EP anyway, but you know. Just so different to anything I've heard from them before, again. It still has that clean, it's like, it has that clean feel of, say, the Man Machine, but much more modern sound. We transitioned again. No, it's still saying aerodynamique, but titanium's been going on for a minute now. Like I said, forget about track titles, just enjoy the music. That's all I need to do. And I'll put them up later when I edit the video. Just because I don't have all that much to say about the music, I just think it's okay for me to say this. I'm working on a lot of other videos at the moment. I have had the top 20 best albums of the 2010s, which is, you know, just obviously extremely late. That's in production at the moment, and various other things I'm planning on making, but just saying I haven't been uploading anything throughout this marathon, just to keep it all, to have that satisfying sort of 1 to 10 list when you look at my uploads, and to really focus on it so it's not stringed out too long. But anyway, music. And also, by the way, at the end of the marathon, I'm gonna make a little video sort of looking back at everything, maybe changing a few of my scores, saying what my favourite tracks from them were, and maybe sort of doing a quick ranking of all the albums in the video. So yeah, that'll be fun. I might make that straight after filming this, actually. Sorry guys, I know I should be focusing on the music. I'm just talking about some other things while I soak up the atmosphere. This is definitely a sort of a aerodynamic part too, but you know, they often do that. Don't mind it at all. I feel like the whole album is, most of this album feels like one big piece, or a few big pieces, because it flows together so well, which it's great. Can't wait to finish the series and I can finally watch, like, you know, wonky angle Kraftwerk videos, because I haven't been doing that, so it doesn't influence what I say in my reactions. So yeah. Great couple of tracks. That's sort of sweet. What is it? Electrocardiogram. German. So that's almost like a heartbeat. Oh, I see. It's like someone riding a bike, their heartbeat and their breathing. That's cool. Fancy that, rhythmic breathing. It's a pretty cool idea, although everyone would go, it sounds weird, it sounds weird, if it wasn't about cycling. I guess electrocardiogram. Is that like some sort of electronic graph? So maybe it's something that shows like, that's cool. electrocardiogram, that's like in German, maybe like a sort of reading of your fitness or your heartbeat or something. That sounds almost American, that electro thing. No, I'm not sure this would be the best thing to listen to while working out. Maybe if I had a punchy beat, but that's like one of the possibly the best melody I've heard on this album so far. What's that? Redux effect. Down sample. Talking really real nerd stuff. It's probably called something else in various software and hardware. Just talking about Ableton terms here. You never know, maybe they made this on Ableton. Probably not, but you know. What's 2003? I know it's not the first time we've heard a heartbeat in music, but it's not really a heartbeat. I think it's just supposed to sound like one, probably. At least that's what I take from it. Rates per minute. Yeah, it's definitely about some sort of reading, I think. Or exercise. And then there's that weird dissonant sound that we heard on their first album, which I compared all the way back then. Yeah. That weird I compared to Window Liquor. The beats per minute, I can't hear. Yeah, that adds a bit of a weird, dark tone to it. Maybe that's the feeling of utter despair when you're completely exhausted. It's representing. Or I'm looking way too much into it, which I am. I don't know, you can take things from tracks that weren't necessarily intentional. It's like the panic. That melody, oh my god. So good. Cannot get enough of a Kraftwerk melody. It's a very slow feel. It has a slow feel like running on a treadmill or something instead of on a bike, but maybe it is supposed to be like on the bikes, but to me this sounds like sort of like cardio, I guess, training before you go on Tour de France instead of the actual thing. Come on. How far are we in? We're nearing the 45-minute mark now. Oh my god, Dad, shut up. That's soaring. La Forme. Is that Italian or is it French? I said it in a very Italian way. No, it's gotta be French. I don't think they switch between 4 languages on this album, although they did on Technopop. Sounds like almost someone saying that percussion. It really sounds like that. This is a near 9-minute track, so quite a big one. thing is, I'm not sure if I'd always be in the mood to listen to this album all the way through. I think I would when I was working, but paying full attention I don't think is the point of this album, so I think there are other ways I can enjoy this more. Instead of sitting here and listening directly to, 56 minutes of minimal electronica. Another great melody there. They slightly vary on this album, the quality of melodies so far. Most have been good though. Oh, I'm pretty tired. No, homeschool is just too much. Too much for me to handle. Oh, first day today anyway. Well, it'll be Friday when you watch this. Yeah, this track and the previous one have melodies almost up to the standard of the Man Machine, practically. It's not quite as good as the Man Machine, of course, because the Man Machine stands tall above everything else, but you know. God, what is up with the trains today? There aren't normally as many. Maybe it's as the lockdown's easing, there's more trains coming and going. And a lot more use of reverb on this album than before. Just generally a lot more effects. This could have been created in a DAW, possibly. People, non-musicians will probably just think, what the hell? They stood inside a DAW. No. DAW, I mean. Instead of on, gear and stuff and sequences like before. It's the 21st century. It's definitely a background album, I think, and that is in no way a bad thing. I never mean that as a bad thing. There's an albums can work really well in the background by being quite repetitive, having a bit of repetitivity and being minimal like this. But for me, that's a sort of background album. A boring album is an album that's not background enough to feel like that, but has the similar sort of mood to it. That's when an album gets a bit boring. Although I guess an album like this could be boring if it's too long, but It's interesting. More sort of played in that end, played in that channel as playing in that channel, that little. Again, the sort of timbres we're getting just don't really remind me of Kraftwerk all that much. But that's a very 21st century sounding synth there. I need to find out what the English lyrics are. Lyrics in English. Yeah, all that being said, I don't think it's necessarily going to make the most interesting reaction video to watch, but you know, in future I won't go out of my way to react to ambient or down-tempo albums in the future. Well, this isn't ambient or down-tempo really, but you know what I mean. "50 minutes in." Although, including my intro, probably got about 10 minutes left still of the album. 2 more tracks after this. And yeah, 2 more tracks and the end of the marathon. It's felt like such a long time. Because it's been, obviously, it would have felt like way longer if I'd done it all in one day, like my stupid original idea was. But it's still 7.5 hours of sitting in front of the camera and listening to Kraftwerk music, so, you know. It's been like 2 weeks doing it. Such a great, not only the melody but all of the tonal sonic decisions, you know. Just love that. Completely monotone, deadpan, low vocoder voice. Still can't really hear what it's saying, but just the audition. I don't know as much French as I do Italian and German. I know even less Spanish, but that's not on here, so good. I mean, not all these tracks have the feel of a cycling race, but you know. I can imagine listening to them as sort of, not as like, oh, Regeneration, go on to the next one, yeah, I can't imagine them as sort of energetic music to make me keep going, that sort of cycling music, but the sort of admiring the view kind of cycling music. You see what I mean? If you're riding through some big mountainous area. Hang on, this track's called This track's a minute long, completely beatless, called Regeneration. Maybe it's sort of like a break in cycling while you're regenerating. Okay, this is Tour de France, the 2003 remake, I guess. Please don't let anyone hear this in the background and go, what on earth are you listening to? It works well when you know it's about cycling, but you know. Good thing I'm not dirty-minded, right? Completely not. Ah, we got some slap bass again. Although I feel bad at making fun of Davey 504's voice because till I watched his recent video, I didn't realise that it was something he like couldn't help. So I'm sorry I imitated it. Well, this really picked up. I guess that makes sense. It was like the album would feel like it had got very sort of slow, and now we pick right up into the final part of the race, which I guess makes sense. So there, I guess, some very interesting little structural choices with this album. And also, I really ought to listen to the original. I don't know how many changes there were in this one, but you know. Again, French. I love that sort of electronic slap guitar. It's not really bassy sounding, it's just sort of just quirky and fun. Now this really does feel like cycling. So by the way, that breathing at the beginning was actually quite a cool sounding thing, how it works with the beat. So catchy, my god. And this is the last track of the marathon. Oh, that's like sort of chain rolling sound. What's that noise? Can't really tell what that was, but oh wait. Real sort of offbeat rhythm there. I think I just heard someone calling my name. I hope they're not going, "What are you listening to?" What's she calling? Maybe we're just going on a walk. Playing this one with my friends. Immature teenage boys. That's got such a luscious feel to it. You know, maybe they should have just made the breathing a bit less sounding. You see what I mean? Texture. I just need. Oh, that was the first time I've sneezed in one of my videos. Good job, me. What the hell? Really nice place to end the album, as well as the discography, I guess. Final 10 seconds. Just savor that feeling of Kraftwerk before it's finished. My friends, we did it. I mean, I did it. Me. I'm joking. Yeah. So that was the Kraftwerk Marathon. I will not, talk about it in detail because I'm going to save a whole video for that, but I just listened to all of them, all 10 of them on camera. I cannot believe I did that. And anyway, that's for the sort of series ending video that I'm gonna make. But this album, yeah, that, I guess, a nice place to leave their career. Doesn't, well, maybe a bit of a weird final album, but you know, still, I'm glad they finished out on a very good note, because you know, I feel like Technopop tried something new and it sort of paid off. This tried something new and it definitely paid off. Yeah, that was a really good album. It's I loved the different style it went for, the different sort of sound, the 21st century, and the interesting structure, just the overall vibe of the album, and the minimal background, not almost sort of ambient style it went for, that could work really well in lots of different contexts as background music, as music while you're actually cycling. I think that was just a really nice way to end their career. I'm going to give it a strong 7.5 out of 10. And yeah, I know that's the same score I gave Trans Europe Express, but you know, I'm going to revise my scores and stuff anyway, so might change that. Yeah, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for your support, but more on that in the next video. As I've been saying, I've just passed the hour mark, and yeah, but we've reached the end. See you next time. Wow, this has been incredible. Yeah, thank you for watching.